Hello, student. Welcome again. Today we will start our history second chapter from hunting, gathering to growing food. In some NCRT books, the chapter name is On the Trail of the Earliest People. But student, the chapter is same, only the name is different. So no need to worry about it. Okay, student. First we will read a story which is given in your book, that is Tushar's train journey. Tushar was going from Delhi to Chennai for his cousin's wedding, and they were traveling by train. He had managed to squeeze into the window seat, and his nose glued to the glass pane. As he watched tree and houses fly past, his uncle tapped his shoulder and said, "Do you know that trains were first used about 150 years ago, and that people began using buses a few decades later?" Tushar wonders, when people couldn't travel quickly from one place to another, did they spend their entire life wherever they were born? Not quite. So, student, Tushar was thinking that before the invention of train and buses, people were used to live in the same place. But it is not true. The reality is different. Our first topic is the earliest people. Why they why were they on the moves? We know about people who lived in the subcontinent as early as 2 million years ago. Today we describe them as hunter gatherers. The name comes from the way in which they got their food. Like they got their food by hunting, and they eat it raw because they do not know how to cook food. And the hunted wild animal caught fish and birds, gathered fruit, roots, nuts, weeds, leaves, stalk, and eggs. The immense variety of plants in a tropical land likes our meant that gathering plant produce an extremely important means of obtaining food. None of these things was easy to do. There are several animals that run faster than us, many that are stronger, and slowly they started making a small village, and they started living socially, and they started working together in a civilized manner. So they used to hunt those animal also who were very fast from us. So the hunt animal or catch fishes and bird people used some weapon which were introduced by them. So archaeologist has found some of things that hunters made to use. It is likely that people made and used tool of stone, woods and bones, of which stone tools has survived best because they are hard. That's why they can survive best. So student, some use of stone tools, you know that they are very useful. They were very useful at that time for the earliest people. Some of these stone tools were used to cut meat and bones, scrap bark, etc. Next question will come in your mind, that how do we know about these people? Archaeologists have found some of the things hunter gatherers made and used. It is likely that people made and used tools of stones, wood, and bones, in which the stone tools have survived best. Some of these stone tools were used to cut meat and bones. Student, you can understand that stone tools are very hard and they are not easily biodegradable. That's why they can survive more in comparison of other things like wood and clothes and paper. So that's why archaeologists found only these types of hard things that can survive more in comparison of other things. Some may have been attached to handles, like you can see in figures also. and some may to use uh, as usual to make spears and arrows for hunting. Other tools were used to chop wood, which was used as firewood. Wood was also used to make huts and tools. Earliest people started using stone to make the things. That's why this time also called the Stone Age, the earliest people. So, student, where did we all come from? Where did people started their journey? The archaeologists believe that the first people came from Eastern Africa. From there, they migrated to different areas looking for food. How we moved means from the earlier from the ancient time people started moving from one place to another, means from Africa to Asia to Australia to Europe, like lots of country. So from the world people started moving from one country to the another country. You can see in this map also. Hunters and gatherers. Paleolithic people lived in a small band of between 20 to 40 peoples. Everyone contributed to the group. Generally, Paleolithic people were nomads. Everyone contributed to the group means everybody have a important pa- status in this their group. Generally, Paleo- Pale- Paleolithic people were nomads, which means they moved from one place following the food. Now, adaptation. As the people moved from place to place, they adapted to their surrounding, like making tools, clothing, and shelter. Early religion. The first sign of religion was recorded as begin around 30,000 years old. People worshipped rocks, made idols to worship, and even worshipped animals also. This type of belief is referred to as animations. About this time, we start to see people taking great care to bury the dead, means suggesting an afterlife. Next topic is Neolithic agricultural revolution. In this Neolithic agricultural revolution, it's difficult to know exactly when it happened, means when people started agricultural activities. Archaeologists have interfered that humans noticed that when seed landed in the ground, they started grow into plants. They started settling into areas to harvest crops. They began to domesticate animal. Effect of the agricultural revolution means when people start agriculture, it's affect their lives also. People become food producers. When after starting agriculture they become a food producer, means now they were not dependent on the nature for their food. Population growth, which led to more interactions with different communities, great changes among humans until the industrial revolution. Gender differences was also there at that time. Men and women. Men were dominated home life. Political affairs were always they were involved in political affairs. Only men were involved. Many become warriors needed to protect the possessions they had. Made major decisions as a group concerning the growing of plants. Although their role was not as strong, women's role, if we will see, their role was not strong as it once they still did much to contribute. Now, new technologies. Begin making calendar to help measure the growing season. We will read about it later. Refined tools to help agriculture and begin to weave animal on vegetable fiber to make clothing. Means people started making calendar to help measure the growing season because they have to grow their crops. Refined tools to help with agriculture. Now they refine their tools to make them more effective and more useful for them. Begin to weave animals or vegetable fibers to make clothing. The rise of civilization. Very slowly, people started to become civilized. Civilization is a complex, highly organized social order. The first civilization were a result of food surplus. The surplus helped to expand population to support higher number of people. River Valley civilization. Largest population began to flourish in area near rivers because water is necessary for the life and for the agricultural work also. That's why people started making cities only nearby the river, like Tigris and Euphrates, Middle East, Nile River, Egypt, Indus River, India, and Yellow River and Honghe, China. Civilization in America. In contrast of river valley elsewhere in America, civilization sprang up in the mountains, Aztecs and Incas. So Aztecs and Incas, these are the mountains where in America people started civilization. Eight important features of civilization that you have to note down in your notebook also. There are eight basic features shared among the earliest civilization, that is making city. They have to make a city. They organize a government, their own complex religion, job specialization, social class, arts and agriculture, public work and writing. Cities. Large population of people, river valley and mountain. So they started making small cities. Then they started organized government. As cities grew, they need a steady food supply. Therefore, new government needed to be established. Fathers passed power to their sons. As civilization grew larger, their organization became more complex. Laws, taxes, military, irrigation projects also a part of their civilization. So, this was the organized government that father passed their power to their son, and as civilization grew larger, the organization became more complex. Means law, taxes, military, and irrigation project also means these were some other developmental work that started in the earlier in the life of a civilized people. Job specialization. Now they started making job specialization. As civilization grew more complex, new technologies made it necessary for people to specialize in specific jobs like bricklayers, like artisans, pottery makers, metalworking, weapon building, and singers, dancers, and storytellers. So now they started distributing jobs also. Complex religion like polytheistic, worshipped many gods, tried to win the favor of God through ritual, ceremonies, annual sacrifice, and sometimes human sacrifice also. So, in the earliest time, in ancient time, people used sacrifice. Now, sacrifice is not allowed in our society. That is illegal and that is banned. Social class. People were ranked based on the jobs they had or the family they were born into. Praised and nobles means in which family they born, they will belong from that society, that class. Wealthy merchant, artisans, peasants, farmers, slaves also Means the son of slaves will be become a slave, the son of priest or nobles will be become a priest, wealthy merchant will be wealthy, artisan children will become artisans only. Art and architecture. Most art reflects the value and belief of those that create them. So, the artistic work was also very interesting and very vast of at that time. Public work. Public project ordered by rulers mean to benefit the civilization of the city like irrigation system, road, bridges and defense walls. Irrigation system help them to work for the agriculture work. Roads help them to move from one place to another place for the trade. Bridges also a way to make a better traveling. Defense walls secure them from the attack of other warriors. Writings. Many archaeologists believe the first writing occurred in temple where priests recorded agricultural information, and most early writing is made up of pictograms, which are symbol drawing that looked like the object they represented. Means they use for the symbol, like if they want to write sun, then they draw sun over that, like you can see in the figure. They only use symbol for the writing. Empire, group of state that territories controlled by the rulers. Often larger civilizations fought each other for choice, land and resources. Means the war begins for the power. So student, now you can understand that choosing a place to live in. You can, if you will see in map too here, you have to draw this map or you can paste this map in your notebook also. Look at the map too below. All the places marked with red triangles are sites from which archaeologists will have found evidence of hunter-gatherers. Only some are shown on map. Many sites were located near sources of water, such as rivers and lake. Means like Indus River, Yamuna River. So other rivers. So civilizations are near the river because people need water for the agriculture activity and for their other daily needs. As stone tools were important, people tried to find place where good quality stone was easily available. Rock painting and what they tell us. Here student, we have found some rock painting also like in Bhimbetka in present day Madhya Pradesh. In present day Madhya Pradesh, that is Bhimbetka, this is an old site with cave and rock shelters. People choose these natural caves because they provide shelter from rain, heat and wind. These rock shelters are close to the Narmada Valley. Can you think of why people choose to live here? Okay. Many of the caves in which these earliest people lived have painted on walls. Some of the best examples are from Madhya Pradesh and southern Uttar Pradesh. These paintings show wild animals drawn with great accuracy and skills. Finding out about fire. Find the Kurnool cave on map 2. Here, Kurnool cave. You have to find Kurnool cave in map 2. Okay student, this is your homework and you have to point out this also. Traces of ash have been found here. This suggests that people were familiar with the use of fire. Fire could have been used for many things, as a source of light, to roast meat and to scare away animals. What do we use fire for today? We use fire for cooking our food and for other daily use things. Name and date. Archaeologists have given lengthy name for the time that we are studying. They call the earliest period the Paleolithic. They call the earliest period the Paleolithic. This comes from two Greek words, Paleo meaning old and lithos meaning stone. So the name points to the importance to find the stone tool. That's why that is called Paleolithic. The Paleolithic period extends from 2 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. This a long stretch to time to divide into lower, middle and upper Paleolithic. This long span of time covered 99% of history. The period when we found environmental changes began about 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago. It called Mesolithic यानी कि middle stone. Stone tools found during this period are generally tiny and are called microliths. Microliths are probably stuck on the handles of bone or wood to make tools such as saw and sticks. At the same time, older varieties of tools continue to be in use. The next stage from about 10,000 years ago, it's known as the Neolithic. What do you think the term Neolithic means? We have also mentioned the name of some place. We will find the name of many more places in later chapter. Very often we use present day name of the place where did people live in the past because we do not know what they call them. The changing environment. Around 12,000 years ago, there were major changes in the climate of the world with a shift of relatively warm condition. In many areas, this led to the development of grassland. This is turned to an increase of the number of deer, antelope, goats, sheep, and cattle, animals that survive on grass. Those who hunted these animals now followed them, learning about their food habits and their breeding season. It is likely that this helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals themselves. Fishing also became important. The beginning of farming and herding. Student, we will read these points in the next video.